Greetings, everybody. So I'm in a whole new energy today. Maybe because we're entering Leo season. Once again, shout out to all my Leos out there. So as we ended off yesterday, we ended abruptly because my camera overheated. And you know, if anybody has an iPhone, I don't know if other phones work that way, but when you have an iPhone and it gets too hot, the phone shuts down and you can't reuse it until the temperature cools down. So being as though it is summertime, where I am at least, and it's, you know, it's summertime. So, so I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible so that we don't have these issues again, hopefully. But, you know, I get really into it. And so I keep going until, you know, I'm all out, right? So I am making this video today. This is our segment where we're talking about, I decided to do this series, called Joules of Energy. And as we know, Joules, Joules, refers to energy. But when we also talk about jewels, we talk about like jewelry, right? And so my job here is to bring you these jewels. And it's these jewels of energy that I'm bringing to you, that you may receive all of this good energy that I'm sending your way. So, and when I say good, I mean for your benefit, something that you can use, incorporate into your lifestyle, help you grow, flourish, expand, and become the best version of yourself. So, I wanted to start today, very briefly, to talk to you guys about a download or a channeling that I received. And again, it could be because we're entering Leo season. And I believe that it starts either today or tomorrow. I think it's either 21st or the 22nd. I know that 21 is usually the ending. And so maybe it is the 22nd is the new beginning. That, you know. So either way, we're entering Leo season. And Leo, the constellation of Leo and the zodiac of Leo is ruled by the sun, of course, right? So Leo being ruled by the sun, it also controls in your body. When you think about the correspondences in your body, Leo governs the heart and the spine. And so if you think about all of these different zodiacs that we call them, the zodiacs, planets, all of these things, these are all things within your body. These are all things within you. So none of these things are external to you per se, right? And so when we think about these things, it's helpful to internalize it versus to externalize it. Now you can look at the external correspondences to see what the planets are doing and what astrology is doing, but think about it in terms of your own body, your own life, and the planets and the universe of people around you, right? The solar system, your soul family, your soul tribe. This is your solar system, right? So when it comes to Leo governs the heart and the spine. So even if you think about the movie Wizard of Oz, where the lion lacks courage. And so part of what he needed to do, he needed a heart, right? Because he needed courage. And so, and also, you know, when you think about being spineless, right? This is how these correspondences work. So when you think about it, even as it plays out in shows and movies and things like that, so keep these things in mind. So, so when the lion or the Leo is not in their full power, there can be issues with the heart, issues with the spine. And so that's why I wanted to make this video with you guys today, because one of the things I came to realize in the channeling that I received today was how when you are meant to do a certain work, there are obstacles sometimes that can be placed in your way in order for you to step into your true power, to step into your full power. One of the things that I realized, I look back at my life and growing up and things like that, and I saw how different things happened in my life to get me to a place, or to attempt to get me to a place where I would close off my heart and not allow love in my heart, right? And you know, I know many people can relate to this, dealing with relationships and family and, you know, stuff like that, things that can potentially just be so devastating to a person that it alters their course of life, because it changes fundamentally who they are, thus changing who they were meant to become based on their, based on their astrological blueprint, right? And their assignment that they came here to fulfill. It can change the course of that trajectory. And I was reflecting on that today and just realizing how all of those things that have happened, if I had allowed those things to overtake me, I would not be able to share this video with you guys today, because I probably would not have come to the awareness that I'm sharing with you right now. And so I know that it's only because I've had those experiences that I'm able to be on the other side of that and share these things with you all. And the funny thing is, the same thing when it comes to the spine, because how Conscious Creations was actually started was because when I was in law school, this was about it's a while ago. So about 2009. I used to, I've always been very active, and so I was out in the park and rollerblading, and I fell on my tailbone and dislocated my pelvic bone. And I had back issues for years after that. But even prior to the fall, I had some back issues. And it's interesting, the fall, right? When we talk about the fall, we talk about, from a spiritual or biblical standpoint, I look at it as a fall from the seat of my own consciousness to a lower dimension, within my lower extremities, my lower spine. So I make that correspondence with, like I said, the fall from my own seat of consciousness and falling out of my own seat of power. And it started even before then. And I'm looking back at it now. It started with a relationship that I was in at that time where I had completely given away my power. And so years later, when I had this rollerblading accident, I look at that as more so of a very clear physical manifestation of the energy that I was already in. And so when I had this fall on the rollerblades, it caused so many issues in terms of pain. And, I've talked to you guys before, and like I said, that is another video where we talk about the different bodies. But you do have different bodies in and around your body, including the pain body. And your pain body can become activated when you are experiencing something emotionally. It can then manifest physically, because everything starts in the spirit, in the unseen realms. And then based on the level that you're vibrating on, you attract that energy into you, right? Because you attract what you are. And where you are, just in your own mental space. And so because of where I was, that was an experience that came to me to show me something, right? It was designed to teach me something, so that then I can be here all these years later sharing all of this information, and it comes full circle with you guys. So after the rollerblading incident in the fall, I had gone through back surgery. You guys probably heard me talk about this before. If you haven't, and I don't even remember what year it was, but it was about 5 years ago. I had back surgery because I had spinal issues after that, where my vertebrae were off, and some of my vertebrae, the doctors say, had begun to deteriorate. And mind you, I think I was in my 30s at that point, right? So it wasn't due to, anything other than, what had happened. And so years and years of being on painkillers, years and years of physical therapy, chiropractic care, steroid injections, mental therapy, all sorts of things. And then eventually having surgery. And the surgery, I ended up having, what was the name of the surgery? Either way, what they did is they went in and they removed the damaged, the damaged part of the discs in my spine. Now, during the surgery went fine. However, after the surgery, I ended up back in the hospital because I remember it wasn't too long after the surgery, I was sitting in the nail salon, and all of a sudden I was like, my back. Because remember, so in the spinal surgery, obviously, I had holes drilled in my spine, right? So after all of this, I'm sitting in the nail salon and I'm like, my back is wet. And then I start getting this really, really, really intense headache. And I called my doctor, and my doctor said, you need to go to the hospital. Went to the hospital, and come to find out, I developed meningitis. So I ended up in intensive care, with meningitis, and had to go through all of that. Being released from the hospital on, IV fluids and all this kind of stuff. And it was an ordeal, y'all. Let me say that. It was a whole ordeal. But that's not the story. It's not the end of the story, right? Because we're here. We're here. And I have not been on painkillers. I have been on everything. Anything that you can think of for pain, I was on it. And at some point they were, and this is after the surgery, mind you. So even after that, I was still having back pain, still having to see a pain management specialist, still having to go to physical therapy, all this kinds of stuff. So even after getting meningitis and all of that, to still have these issues, I decided there has to be a better way. And this, my friends, is how Conscious Creations came to be. Because it was in that search for a better way that I started really getting to know myself on an intimate level. And also getting to know nature, getting to know science, getting to know math, astronomy, astrology, all of these things, right? Bringing together all of the disciplines. And that's a funny word when you think about it. It's discipline. But I had to learn to discipline myself in such a way that these things would come to me, right? Because I had to stop for a moment and really look at where I was and where I was trying to be. And this is where I was trying to be, to a place where I did not have to live on pain management and things like that. And so I shared this with you all to give you some insight into what Conscious Creations, how Conscious Creations 1 was formed, and a little bit about my story and what makes me do what I do. Because I know what back pain feels like. I know what pain feels like. I know what it's like to be in your pain body. And I know what it's like to be on the other side of that. And having dealt with such excruciating pain that I literally felt as if I couldn't move. There were days that I couldn't move. I couldn't walk. It was a lot. So, and I know that there are so many people out there that are dealing with pain issues, that are dealing with back issues. And so as we are entering the Leo season and we talk about the necessity of the spine, of course, I thought the channeling that I received, of course, was so divine, right? So divine. And so I'm grateful to be the vessel to bring you this information. And I trust that it helps someone out there. So when we talk about the spine, you look back at some of the other videos that I've done. And I'm sorry if I keep moving my head and squinting and all these things. It's, obviously I'm sitting directly in the sun. So, yeah. So when it comes to the spine, I talk to you guys a lot about the energy that goes up the spine, right? Because, you think about your body, and I always liken it to trees because it is what it is, right? So with let me turn the camera so you guys can get a better view. So even if you look at the trees behind me, right? And so if you imagine your head, right, being like the if you're imagining, so say what kind of tree is it that looks like that? You guys have seen trees that, just have the thing that looks like a big afro, right? I mean, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Welcome. So, so like the big tree with the afro, if you could imagine that, right? And then the trunk of the tree being the brown, the trunk of the tree, right? So if you imagine your body from that perspective, you imagine your head with all of these nerve endings and things like that. And as we know, specifically when it comes to 9 ether beings and 9 ether hair, and those of us with curly hair, coily hair, right? It is designed actually to connect. It is Wi-Fi. It is designed to connect you with nature, to connect you with the cosmos. And so having your natural hair out is such an amazing thing, because it allows you to connect with nature in the way that you were intended to be able to. It's a power that you have, that you were actually born with, that you're able to actually connect to nature. And so this is no shade to my sisters out there who've decided to relax their hair. I'm simply telling you what it is, right? Some of us are disconnected because we're disconnected from nature, because we're disconnected from ourselves, because we are nature. You know what I mean? And so when we look at the trees and we see our connection to the trees and to everything that is, when we look at the tree as the roots and things go down, down the tree, down into the ground, these are our nerves, right? So our bodies have all of these nerve endings that flow throughout the body into the earth, right? To ground us into the earth, because the earth actually heals us, right? And so if you can be out in nature and ground yourself in nature, you find that you are able to truly heal yourself of so many things. But it is about getting back to that connection that we inherently have. So this is why the spine, though, is so important, because as those nerve endings, right, the nerves, there's the spine, and as the nerves and all of these things are circling and spiraling up the spine, right, through, and it's touching all of these different energy points. This is why we talk about the Kundalini energy that starts at the base of your spine and goes up. And so when I look at it, even my own story, I look back and I see now why falling on my tailbone was a fall, right? Because if the Kundalini energy begins at the base of your spine, I was damaged. Hear me. I was damaged at the base of my spine. That energy within me was damaged. And so I had to rebuild that energy, right? And to raise myself back up to the seat of my own consciousness, and to reclaim the crown, right, of myself, of my own consciousness, And so this is what balancing the energy in your body helps you to do. So we talked before about all of the different energy centers that are different chakras or wheels. They're wheels of energy that spin. And so we talked about the base chakra, which is at the base, right? It's the root chakra. It's that mother energy. It's that foundational energy. And so this is what we're saying when we're talking about being connected to the mother. So we're talking about the earth. We're talking about the cosmos. We're talking about our own physical mothers. We're talking about motherhood. We're talking about our bloodline. You know what I mean? We're talking about our actual foundation, our foundation. And so if your foundation is unstable, everything that's built on that foundation is also unstable, unless and until you come back into balance. And so the next chakra up is the sacral chakra, which is that sacred seat, right? It corresponds with the color orange. I'm sorry, base is red, sacral is orange. And so that orange chakra, right? That's that reproductive energy. That's that passionate energy. Also, the base chakra is passion, but also the sacral chakra is also a passionate energy. So when you think about orange, you think about fire, right? And so it's that fire energy that comes together to create. So that's your creative center, your creative space within your body. And so I'll talk about this repeatedly, but if you are having issues with fertility and creativity and manifestation, look at a possible there being a possible imbalance within your sacral chakra. More than likely, that's where it is. And it may be in more than one, but definitely it would be in your sacral chakra. Now, next up is the solar plexus, it corresponds with the color yellow and the sun. And so this is the seat of your willpower. So this is very, very important as we enter this season in particular, because Leos can really be impacted by this energy as I'm sharing this with you in real time, right? This is why it's so important to get the sun, because it corresponds with that color yellow, and it gives you that soul energy, that soul force, right? The willpower for you to continue, to keep going, right? It is that creative willpower that you need, that determination, that drive, that get up and go sort of energy. And you think about it, that's what the sun does. The sun gives us power. It's solar power. We are solar powered beings. And so as we receive this energy from the sun, it gives us this power to be able to continue on and on and on and on and on, no matter what's happening. So getting some sun is also important there. So if you are having any issues with your willpower, if you are feeling like you are out of energy, if you are feeling, if you are lacking courage, right? And if you need courage put into you, go back and watch these videos. And also there's so many other people on YouTube also that can encourage and empower, helping you to return to your own seat of power. So many people out there who do this kinds of stuff to keep people encouraged and motivated, because I know that sometimes in life can throw things at you that you can lose, you can at least feel like you want to stop, but we don't stop. So in order to do that, we got to make sure that we are in alignment and in balance with ourselves. And so the next chakra is the heart chakra, which corresponds with the color green. And so this is why I always talk about, earthing and getting out and getting in nature and absorbing all of this greenery that's around. And then above that is the throat chakra, which corresponds with the color blue. So this is, your expression, right? Your self-expression, being able to speak your truth. And then we have indigo, which is, and I hope I get those backwards. No, I think that's correct. Because then indigo is the third eye chakra. That's the pineal gland. So you want to be able to, this is where the melatonin that regulates your hormones, part of what regulates your hormones. It regulates your sleep cycles that allow you to be able to regenerate the next day and to come into the next day in new energy, is really having your pineal gland open first and foremost, so that you can see clearly and see through the veils and the illusions and all that kind of stuff, but also being able to sleep. Because I know some people have difficulty sleeping, and so their body is not rejuvenating the way that it should. And so if that is the case, you may want to look at balancing your pineal gland. So you can do that by eating dark blue things like blueberries, blackberries. And I always talk about that because we're talking about the higher chakras, right? So when we're anything from the heart up, we're talking about the higher chakras. And so in all of these things, if you want to make sure that you have enough green, because obviously that's your heart, right? So you have enough green, but have enough blue also, so that you can speak clearly, speak with intention, speak with purpose, see clearly. And also then you get to your crown chakra, which is the color purple, which actually corresponds with Thursday, which is today, or at least where I am. So Thursday is represented by the color purple. It's ruled by the planet Jupiter, which is a planet of expansion. And so when we talk about our crown chakra, we're talking about expanding ourself, expanding our consciousness. And so that's what all of these things are about. It's about expanding your awareness and opening up yourself to yourself and becoming the best and highest version of you. So with that being said, I know that I go over these things often because I want to make sure that people truly understand exactly what it is that I'm saying, and I trust that I'm communicating this in such a way that you can understand it. Now, back to the heart and the spine very briefly, because like I said, I didn't want this video to be too long. Let me see, I'm checking the heat on my phone. It's not too hot right now. Even though this conversation is fire, my phone is not on fire today, so that's good. So, the heart and the spine, my dear Leos, it is your season. It is your season. Walk into this season. Even if you are not a Leo, if you check out your natal chart, maybe you have some Leo in your chart, or you want to. But this is not zodiac specific, but it is to give information also to the Leos out there, to let you know if you are having any issues with your spine or with your heart. These are things that you can, that Leos can deal with, right? In terms of some of the challenges that you may have, or some of the strengths that you may have, right? So it goes both ways. It could be a strength for you, it can be a challenge for you, but this is your seat of governance, if you may. So as we talk about the body politic of the thing, we're literally talking about your body. And so if you are having these issues, if you are having any issues with your heart or with your spine, you want to make sure that you get out and get some sun, and you eat more yellow colored fruits and vegetables, which correspond with the solar plexus chakra, so that you can make sure that your solar plexus is in balance. Also, like I said, your heart chakra, which is the color green. So that's where eating your dark leafy greens come in. Now, some people that may have issues with blood clotting are not able to eat that many dark green leafy vegetables, according to the doctors. So you may want to be mindful of that if you do have any of those issues. But in our last few minutes here, what I want to do is just do some basic stretches like we did, because I know yesterday we left off with, I believe it was the downward facing dog. Is that what it was? Either way, y'all know I don't always know the names of these things. They may come to me later, but I can just tell you what it is and what I'm doing, and I can show you. So, making sure that all of the energy centers in your spine are open, right? Open and expanding enough to allow the energy to flow through, right? You want to be a clear channel for the energy that you receive from the heavens, your higher self, from God, the cosmos, whatever name you'd like to give to the source energy. It is what it is, right? So what we are doing, and let me do the camera. See, now I realize I can do this. I can tilt the camera a certain way so that you guys can see me more clearly. So what we are going to do is we are going to do child's pose. And as we always talk about, make sure that you are breathing. So this as we're on all fours, right? My feet, my toes, actually yesterday I had my toes curled under my feet, but this time I'm going to extend my toes out. And so in doing so, we're going to breathe in. And as we breathe in, we're going to start here, breathe in. And as you breathe out, we're going to go back and sit back on, take our butt and sit our butt over our ankles, or over the heels of our feet, I should say. And so in this, you will feel the stretch. You will feel it in your hip, or at least you should. You should feel that in your hip, and you should continue to stretch out the palms of your hands and touch your fingers, reach all the way out as far as you possibly can to feel that stretch in your spine. And breathe in to feel the feel the breath going from the tips of your fingers all the way through your spine and up to the tips of your toes. And as you exhale your body and release your body so that your butt goes further back as far as it possibly can onto the heels of your feet. Releasing any stagnant energy that may be in your hips, any stagnant energy that is there, right? And so we want to breathe in as we bring ourselves back up. Keep your body close to the mat, close to the ground. Keep your knees on the mat. Push your body up so you have your toes now curled under and your palms planted firmly on the mat. So I gotta wipe my sweat. And as we breathe, we push our butt out like so to once again stretch out the spine, right? Then we're going to breathe in, bring the spine up, curving the spine up, into pulling our body up. Imagine pulling our body up to the cosmos. So imagine like a string on your back as it's being pulled up, pulled up, pulled up, pulled up, pulled up as far as it can go to the cosmos. And now what you want to do is breathe out and release that. And as you do that, you want to push your butt out and release any stagnant energy that may be in your spine. Releasing all the stagnant energy that's in your spine. Once again, we're going to breathe in, pulling your body up all the way to the cosmos, all the way to the cosmos. As far as it can go. And then we're going to breathe out, pushing out your butt, releasing any stagnant energy in your spine. And what we're going to do now is push yourself up. Your palms are planted firmly on the mat. Push yourself up as you breathe in. You're on your toes and you walk yourself to the center of the mat. And as you breathe in, you pull yourself back up. You pull yourself back up. And so now this is where we're going to have to adjust. I'm going to have to adjust the stand here so that you guys can see, since we're switching gears a bit. Bear with me. Because now we are standing. If somebody knows of an easier way, like, I don't know, maybe it's getting a different tripod or something, y'all let me know. But we're working with what we got for now, right? So, whew. All right, it's hot out here, y'all. Oh, it is hot out here, but it's all good. As you can see, it is such a beautiful day, beautiful day. So now, as we have stretched out our spine, what we want to do is now we want to continue to make sure that we're moving the energy. So feet planted firmly. Actually, we're going to plant our feet firmly on the ground. If you have a space where you're outside, as obviously I am, if you have a space outside, plant your feet firmly in the ground. And we're going to bring the energy up. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. And as you breathe out, bring all of that energy, all of the clean energy that you just receive from the cosmos. You're bringing that all down your spine, all down your spine. And you're planting yourself firmly in this energy. So as you breathe in, you're breathing in nature. You're breathing in all of nature's wonderful, wonderful air. Bringing it up, bring it up. Adjust your crown on your way up. And you're bringing back down your power, bringing back down all of the energy. You're bringing back down love. You're bringing back down balance, wholeness, right? You're bringing back down in all of the energy that you need. So whatever that energy may be, you're releasing what needs to be released, and you're bringing in what needs to be brought in to bring you into a seat of balance, into your seat of the wholeness of yourself. So I thank you all for joining me today. So I know that we've been doing this series over the last 4 days of talking about these jewels of energy, and we will continue talking about these jewels of energy, but these are just some of the fundamental things. 1, to show you how to breathe. 2, to show you how to move your body. And again, it's not any, as you saw with me, like it's not anything in particular when it comes to just moving, because we just want to move our bodies, right? We just want to move to keep things flexible, to keep flowing, right? And so move your hips, making sure that you're moving your hips, moving the energy in your hips, because sometimes, and I can tell you from my own experience, sometimes energy gets trapped right here. And I think the first video I did with you guys, I was telling you that, and so this is why I was moving the way that I was, right? Because it was energy trapped in my hips. And so the more we did these exercises over the couple of days, we're able to move that energy out, right? And the same thing with the spine. So every now and then my spine may get a little bit tight, right? Because it's still energy. And so, like I said, some of these exercises, some of these movements that you can do these things to move the energy. So whatever it takes for you to be able to move that energy out of your spine so that you can then bring in new energy, that's going to be beneficial to you. Because what happens sometimes, like I said, is trauma gets trapped in the body, and it's all energy. Because remember, you're not there anymore. And so it's this old trauma, right? Like I was talking about from the fall. It's this old trauma that can get locked into your cells. And so it blocks the energy flow so that you can't receive new energy into that space until you clear out the old energy, because there's no room for it, right? So this is why it's important to release that old energy, the old traumas. So this is deep, y'all. So it goes deeper than just a fall. It's trauma, right? So whether that be emotional trauma, physical trauma, trauma being in the hospital, trauma of relationships, whatever it is, right? You want to move out that energy and be in the flow of the now, because now you are not in that trauma. Now you are not in that space. Now you are not in the hospital. Now you are not in that relationship. Now you don't live in the same place that you used to. You don't live in that space anymore. You're in a different space. And so I invite you to live in the new space that you're in and to continue to flow. Continue to flow, allowing new things in, but continuing to release those things that need to be moved out, to allow those new things to get in, to allow those new experiences from a new foundation that are not built on trauma, but that are built on stable ground, solid ground, love, wholeness, whatever it is that you want to build your foundation on. Make sure it's built on solid ground. Thank you. If you have any questions about our products at Conscious Creations, visit our website at www.consciouscreations.live, where we make all handmade products, from body butter to herbal teas, yoni steams, perfumes, shampoo, hair serums, tinctures. I'm working on an echinacea tincture right now for the fall, because usually it's in the fall when people start getting colds and things like that. So I have brewing an echinacea tincture. You can also make sure that you check out the Instagram page at consciouscreations.live on Instagram. We also have a clubhouse at Make Dopeness on Clubhouse. And I'm trying to get more consistent with these things, y'all. So I'm trying to get more consistent with the clubhouse stuff too. It's a lot going on, but I'm trying to bring you guys all of the information and all of the things that I am receiving that I find to be beneficial, that I found beneficial for me and for my experience and for the people that I've spoken to. So I bring that to you all with the hopes that it helps you on your journey. Thank you so much for tuning in. This video is longer than I anticipated, but I hope that it helps somebody out there. Thank you so much. See you on the next video.